You're listening to Frank Talks, Pleasures, and Lifestyles. And I'm Frank because I have to be. We're in studio today with Mr. Greg Dunlevy, who is an artist of multi-talents. And today we're speaking specifically about his position as president of the Metro Musicians Association, as well as his experiences as a street and metro performer. Mr. Dunlevy, welcome back.
Thanks, Frank.
That was an actually very lovely piece. Can you tell me a little bit about the piece?
Well, pretty much all my pieces all my own music, just comes from what I feel. It's spontaneous. It's improvised. There's a basic theme to it. Other than that, it's completely right off the top of my head.
So you're very well connected with your emotions then, if you could just play directly from your heart like that.
I suppose you could say that, yeah. I try to be connected with my emotions, the most I can, the best I can.
Let's turn this interview now to the type of thing that not everybody would like to deal with, but it's part of life. Some of the sacrifices that you've made to live the lifestyle you do as an artist, and some of the obstacles you've encountered performing on the streets and in the metros.
Well, as far as sacrifices are concerned, you have, personally, I guess I can only speak personally. I've had some really good periods, and I've had some really lean periods. They're, in fact, every year is like that, I'd say a good part of my year is fairly lucrative. Money comes in. I'm nowhere close to becoming rich fast. That's for darn sure. But I get by fairly well. And then when you get to January, February, March, and yes, April, it is pretty slow. The contracts stop coming in. You might get the occasional contract coming in, but during those months, it's not that often. And acting in Montreal, well, as far as the film industry is concerned, boy, has that ever taken a dive in the past 4 or 5 years. I was at an audition last week, and every actor there was complaining about the lack of work. So, but as far as the music is concerned, there are times when it's really tight. There are times when I have to ask my landlord, look, could you hold off? I'll pay you as soon as I can. I just don't have the money. And yet there's other periods of time I can pay 2 or 3 months of rent in advance. So it's up and down. But as you said, it's a lifestyle choice. It's something that I really love doing. I love playing my flute. I love playing my saxophone. I love being up on my stilts. I love playing when I'm not on my stilts. I love the contracts that I get, corporate events that I do, the cultural events that I do. I was in Tahiti just before Christmas for a gig over there for 10 days. I mean, all expenses paid. Boy, what a pleasure cruise that was, let me tell you. So, but there are tough times. There's times when I'll play in some metros in the middle of winter where it's so cold that my fingers crack open. I can't feel the keys that I'm playing because my hands are too frozen. Today, when I was playing on St. Catherine Street, I was playing on my stilts with my saxophone. And this guy comes up to me and intentionally walks right into me. And then tried to push me out of the way. Now, where does that come from? What kind of an idiot would do something like this? Because if he actually was able to push me down and I fell in a certain way, I could fracture my spinal column and be paralyzed for the rest of my life. Now, what kind of mentality is that?
Actually, for the benefit of our listeners, can you give us a visual description of your performance? Because I don't know if we didn't actually cover that. When you perform, on the street or in the metro, you perform on stilts.
Not all the time, but on the street, yes. Not in the metro. Usually in the mornings I don't perform on stilts. But anywhere from noon on, I usually perform on stilts.
And what else does your costume incorporate?
Well, I have different costumes for different events. During the winter time, when I'm playing in the metro, I wear a long pair of black pants. I wear a fuchsia-colored shirt with a vest on top of it, a purple scarf on my head. And in the metro, I usually play my flute. Out on the street, I usually play the saxophone. And this time of year, I'm still wearing the dark pants and the fuchsia shirt. When it gets into the hotter season, I wear a green tank top, long purple pants, and a fuchsia sash, a long fuchsia sash around my waist with the purple scarf.
And do you find that people recognize you? Do you have people coming up to you and saying, "Hey, I know you. You're the guy who performs in the metro"?
Exactly. I do have that. I've been on movie sets where people have come up to me and said, "Oh, hey, aren't you the guy who plays on St. Catherine Street, the saxophone on the stilts, or plays in the metro, or in a bus or in a store?" It's yeah.
Well, you know what? It's about that time. We're talking about performance again. It's time for you to get back on that flute here on Frank Talks Pleasures and Lifestyles.
Frank Talks is sponsored in part by the book I'm a Man, That's My Job, The Philosophy of a Seducer. What is inner game? There's a lot of contradictory information out there, and one size does not fit all. Your inner game is as unique and personal as your signature or your fingerprints. This book provides you with the means to create your own seduction persona. This is a workbook, which means we will work together, and by the end, you will have developed your own personal inner game. By this, learn what it means to be a man, and what the role of the modern man in today's society is that will attract him to the woman he wants. Learn about how men and women think differently, and how to take the lead in a relationship. This book is for you at franktalks.com.